Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today I've got a huge story for you that could mean some extra cash in your bank. Count soon, that's right, the IRS is sending out surprise stimulus checks and they're worth a massive $1.8 billion. Who's getting them? How much are they receiving? And most importantly, how do you make sure you're not missing out on this unbelievable opportunity? In this video, we're diving deep into all the details, so make sure to stick around as we explore every angle of this announcement. Earlier this week, the IRS dropped a bombshell announcement that has left millions of Americans asking the same question: am I getting one of those surprise checks? The federal agency is sending out a whopping $1.8 billion in surprise payments, targeting nearly 1 million Americans who missed out on previous stimulus rounds. And before you think this is just another round of pandemic relief, hold up, this one is a little different. These payments are part of leftover stimulus funds from earlier programs, and the IRS is using this money to make things right for people who didn't receive the full amount they were entitled to. So how exactly did this happen? And most importantly, could you be one of the lucky ones getting a surprise check in the mail? Before we get into who's getting the money, let's talk a bit about how this situation came about. The IRS is making these payments because a significant portion of money was left unclaimed from earlier stimulus rounds. During the pandemic, many Americans received various forms of relief, but not everyone was able to access their payments. This was especially true for individuals who didn't file tax returns, like those with lower incomes or retirees who didn't need to file, and the IRS was able to track down this leftover money to now send it out to those who were supposed to receive it but didn't get their fair share at the time. So why are the payments going out months or even years after the initial stimulus rounds? The answer lies in the complexities of the original stimulus programs. If you weren't aware, the government's initial relief efforts weren't perfect. Many people fell through cracks, and some are never properly identified for payments because the IRS had trouble locating certain individuals, and for others the paperwork just didn't line up. Now the agency is going back, reviewing the files and correcting those mistakes, a final last chance effort to ensure that people who missed out finally get what they were owed. And for some lucky folks, this surprise payment could be a genuine game share in their financial situation. So who exactly is eligible to receive these surprise checks? That's the big question on everyone's mind right now. The IRS is sending these payments to individuals who should have received stimulus checks in the past but didn't. Let's break this down further. First and foremost, these checks are going out to people who were eligible for previous rounds of stimulus payments but were excluded for various reasons, with the most common being that these people didn't file a tax return. This group could include low-income workers, retirees, or people who simply didn't need to file taxes during the pandemic, and many of these individuals may not have realized they were eligible for a stimulus check in the first place, which is why this payment feels like a surprise. The IRS is focusing on those who might not have been included in earlier distributions because they either didn't meet certain criteria or simply did not file taxes on time. You might be thinking, wait, I didn't file taxes last year. Does that mean I could getting one of these payments? Well, it depends. The IRS is looking at people who could have qualified based on income or other financial criteria, even if they didn't file taxes. So if you're a retiree who hasn't filed in years, a low-income worker who is under the filing threshold, or even someone who simply missed a step in the process. You may be in line to receive a payment. Now let's talk about how much money people are getting with these surprise checks. Although the IRS hasn't released exact figures for every case, we have a general idea. The checks are expected to be in the ballpark of $500 to $2,000 per person, depending on several factors. For instance, if you were eligible for a $11,200 stimulus check during the first round but never received it, you could be receiving that full amount. Likewise, if you missed out on the $600 check during the second round or the $1,400 check during the third round, those amounts could be included as well. Depending on your tax history and eligibility, you could be seeing a sizable chunk of change headed your way, a true financial boost that might help with outstanding bills or even provide a cushion for future expenses. One of the reasons why this is such a big deal is because many people didn't realize they were entitled to those earlier payments. And for those who missed out on the extra $600 or $1,200 during the early days of the pandemic, this is a golden opportunity to finally get that relief. Some reports even suggest that a small group of individuals could be receiving payments of up to $2,000 depending on how much they missed during previous stimulus rounds. So it's not a one-size-fits-all scenario, but it's definitely a welcome influx of funds for those who qualify. So how are these surprise payments being distributed if you were expecting to see your check in the mail? Here's the deal: the IRS is using multiple methods to deliver the funds. The majority of people who are eligible will likely receive their payments by a direct deposit. If you filed taxes in the past and the IRS already has your bank account information, you'll probably see the money hit your account directly, which is the fastest method and the one being used for most recipients. However, if the IRS doesn't have your bank information on file, or if you've recently changed bank accounts, you might receive a physical check in the mail, which could take a bit longer to process. So it's important to keep an eye on your mailbox. Additionally, be cautious and make sure that if you are getting a check, it is coming from the IRS, because there are always scammers out there looking to take advantage of such situations. The IRS will send you a notice explaining that you're receiving payments, so you'll know exactly what to look for. Now let's get into how you can check whether or not you're getting one of these surprise payments. If you're curious about your eligibility or wondering when the money will arrive, the IRS offers a simple tool called the Get My Payment tool. This quick and easy method allows you to check the status of your payment by providing a few details, such as your social security number, date of birth, and address. Once you input your information, you'll be able to see if you're set to receive a payment, the amount you'll get, and the expected delivery date. If you're eligible and haven't yet received anything, it's wise to check this tool. Double-check your information and stay patient, as the IRS works hard to ensure that everyone entitled to a check gets it. It is a massive undertaking and may take some time, but the effort is designed to rectify past oversights and ensure fairness. In summary, the IRS is sending out surprise stimulus checks worth $1.80 billion to nearly 1 million Americans, and you could be one of the lucky recipients. If you believe you're eligible, make sure to check the IRS Get My Payment tool. Keep an eye on your mailbox and remain informed, vigilant, and patient. Your check might be arriving sooner than you think. Moreover, consider following trusted news outlets and IRS updates to stay abreast of any new developments or additional clarifications on eligibility and payment methods. Thank you for watching. And if you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more updates and news you won't want to miss. I'll be back with further details and insights, so take care and see you in the next one.